The secret of the toy chest. Once upon a time, nestled in a valley where the sun always seemed to shine a little brighter, lived two siblings named Alara and Finn. Alara, with her hair like spun moonlight and eyes the color of amethysts, was the elder, a dreamer with a heart full of stories. Finn, with his mop of sunshine, yellow hair, and eyes that sparkled like emeralds, was younger and more pragmatic, though he too held a secret longing for magic. Their room was a haven, a kaleidoscope of color and imagination. Shelves overflowed with wooden soldiers, plush animals, glittering dolls, and intricately crafted toy castles. During the day, these were just objects, silent companions to their games. But as the moon replaced the sun, and Alara and Finn drifted off to sleep, a secret world awoke. One particularly warm summer night, Alara tossed and turned, disturbed by a dream of chattering squirrels and a mischievous griffin. She stirred, her eyes fluttering open. The room was bathed in the silver glow of the moon, and everything seemed different. At first, she thought she was still dreaming. A small wooden soldier, no bigger than her thumb, stood at attention near her bedpost. His miniature sword gleamed, and his tiny painted eyes seemed to gleam with life. Then she heard a faint giggle. Peeking over the side of her bed, she saw her beloved teddy bear, Bartholomew, waltzing clumsily with Penelope, her porcelain doll. The toy castle, usually a static ornament, now bustled with tiny figures carrying miniature lanterns. A stuffed dragon, puffing harmless puffs of cotton smoke, regaled a circle of stuffed animals with a booming, though muffled, voice. Alara gasped, a sound that seemed amplified in the silent room. Bartholomew froze mid-waltz. Penelope's painted lips parted in a silent gasp, and the soldier snapped to an even stricter, more worried attention. I didn't know, Alara whispered, her voice trembling with a mixture of fear and wonder. The little soldier, apparently their leader, cleared his throat, a sound like the rustling of leaves. You weren't supposed to, Princess Alara. We're only active when the children are asleep. Princess? Alara tilted her head, bewildered. Indeed, Bartholomew chimed in, lumbering towards the bed. You and Prince Finn are the protectors, the guardians of this realm. We, your toys, are your subjects. Finn, startled by the commotion, woke up with a jolt. Rubbing the sleep from his eyes, he stared, mouth agape, at the scene before him. The soldier explained to him, too, about their shared destiny, about the magic that allowed them to come alive only when the children were sleeping. But why? Finn asked, his practical mind already seeking logic. Because, Penelope offered, her voice surprisingly clear and melodic. The world needs magic, and you, Alara and Finn, are the source of ours. Your imaginations, your love, your belief, that is what gives us life. And so began a nightly adventure for Alara and Finn. They learned that the toy world was not just a playground, but a kingdom, complete with its own customs, challenges, and secrets. They learned about the woodlanders, the gentle folk who lived in the toy castle, constantly battling the dust bunnies, mischievous creatures who tried to spread chaos and grime. They befriended the fluffies, the plush animals led by the wise old lion, Leo, who were the kingdom's philosophers and healers. Alara, with her boundless imagination, became the kingdom's storyteller, weaving tales of bravery and kindness that inspired all the toys. Finn, with his clever mind, became the strategist, devising plans to protect the kingdom from the dust bunnies and other threats. One night, however, a shadow fell upon their magical world. From the depths of the forgotten toy box, an ancient evil stirred. The Shadow King, a discarded puppet with a malevolent grin, had been banished long ago for his cruel deeds. He craved the children's imagination, not to bring joy, but to twist it into nightmare fuel. The Shadow King, fueled by the children's fears and the growing neglect of their toys, began to corrupt the kingdom. The Woodlanders argued amongst themselves, paranoia spreading like a disease. The Fluffies lost their wisdom, replaced by cynicism. Even Bartholomew, Alara's steadfast teddy bear, began to mutter dark thoughts. Alara and Finn were devastated. The magic that had once thrived in their room was fading, replaced by a sinister unease. They tried to intervene, but their own fears and doubts began to creep in. What if they weren't strong enough? What if they, too, succumbed to the Shadow King's influence? One night, the Shadow King launched his final attack. He sent his shadow puppets to steal the children's dreams, replacing them with nightmares. Alara and Finn awoke, screaming, their room filled with a chilling darkness. The toys were engaged in a fierce battle, but the Shadow King's power was overwhelming. Despair threatened to engulf them. But then, Alara remembered the stories she used to tell, stories of hope, kindness, and the power of imagination. She grabbed Finn's hand, her eyes shining with renewed determination. "We can't give up," she said, her voice ringing with conviction. "We have to believe. We have to remember the magic." Closing their eyes, they focused all their love, all their belief, all their imagination on the toy kingdom. They remembered the laughter, the joy, the camaraderie, and the stories that had brought them all together. As they did, a surge of light erupted from their hearts, washing over the room. The shadow puppets disintegrated, the darkness receded, and the toys rallied, their courage renewed. Bartholomew roared a defiant challenge. Penelope danced with newfound grace, and the little soldier led the charge with unwavering bravery. The Shadow King, weakened by the children's renewed belief, shrieked in fury and vanished back into the forgotten toy box. His power broken, the kingdom was saved. In the days that followed, Alara and Finn made a conscious effort to nurture their imaginations, to play with their toys with even more enthusiasm, and to banish all negativity from their thoughts. They learned that the magic of their toy kingdom wasn't just a gift, but a responsibility. As they grew older, the magic of the toy kingdom gradually faded, as is the way of childhood dreams. But Alara and Finn never forgot their nightly adventures. They carried the lessons they learned, the importance of belief, the power of imagination, and the value of kindness with them throughout their lives. And sometimes, when they looked at their old toys, neatly arranged on a shelf, they could almost hear the faint echoes of laughter and the rustling of tiny soldiers, a reminder of the magical kingdom that once thrived in their dreams. For they knew that even in the quietest of moments, a little bit of magic can always survive, waiting to be awakened by the power of a believing heart.